me know if you guys can hear me in chat. Let me know. Alright. I can hear. What's up? Yep, I can hear you. Cool. Alright, we're about to get things started. We are about to get things started. Why not? Put a burger emoji or a French fry emoji in the chat. I don't know why, but do that. And let me see if you guys are ready to get started. Let's see, Kawaii Mason, Bonnie, Mason Wrigley, Flippy, Alter Ego Bro, Wolf, that Mario Person 28, 80s Snork Lover, I guess? Let me see if there's anyone else that I missed. Randallton Brewster. I think that is about Polly Nutty. And I think that is... I'm not even gonna even try to say that name. I'm not even gonna remotely try to do that one. Okay. Hey, your mom. Well, you just came back from school. That, goddamn. Alright. Let's go ahead. Oh, perfect timing to end that one. Sweet. Alright, let's get the background music started. Alright. How y'all been? How has everybody been so far? How is your Thursday? How is your Thursday? Or how has your week been? Let's go ahead. I think we can do live cam right now. Alright. Let's just send myself just a little bit. Hello! Welcome back, everybody, to another stream. I wasn't really sure if I was going to actually be streaming today, but I was wanting to create a video, but certain circumstances ended up happening, so I wasn't really able to do that, which is a shame, but it is what it is. We're still here. Let me pull up the chat. There we go. Alright, my week is going great. Awesome. Sweet. Happy about that. Glad to hear that you guys are doing well this week. My week has been, it's pretty decent. It's been uneventful until tomorrow. I think I talked about this in the last stream. If you guys watched, I think it was like last week or so, I talked about in the last stream. Tomorrow is the kickoff for the 70th anniversary of Disneyland. It's not Disneyland's actual 70th anniversary, that's in July, but the full celebration and kickoff to their 70th starts tomorrow, and I'm actually going to be at Disneyland literally for the entire day. I'm waking up early as hell in the morning, like maybe 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to be heading on down to Disneyland, hopefully to get there by like maybe at the latest 7:15, because I'm trying to rope drop. I want to get into the park before like the crazy crowds get there. And so yeah, I'm gonna be there from literally park opening 8 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock midnight when it closes. That's what I do. Not all the time, obviously. I literally cannot do that every week or every month. I can only do that like once, maybe twice a year. Usually once a year, honestly, because it takes a lot. Hold on a second. My glasses have like a lot of dust in it. Let me just rub that off a little bit. Sometimes it sucks to have glasses. I need to give me some new glasses, actually. Gotta update my prescription. But, yeah. So, but that's essentially what's kind of going on there. Is, I just want to turn that down just a little bit. Again, let me know. You guys can hear me, right? Yeah, I think, okay. But either way, but yeah, so tomorrow's a pretty big day. They've been doing like some soft openings of like some of their like parades and fireworks shows and World of Color show that they have going on. So, I didn't get to do that at all, but loud and clear, sweet, awesome. But yeah, I'm gonna be there tomorrow. I wanted to make a reservation for one of these days of the week, but I was like, nah, just do Friday, because if I'm gonna be there for 14 to 16 hours, I think it's 16 hours. Yeah, if I'm gonna be there for 16 hours, like, no, I think I'm good on making another reservation. So, yeah. But either way, yeah, tomorrow that's gonna be a huge day for me because I'm gonna be vlogging. I honestly, because I did mention, and somebody asked this question earlier, I think. How was your Disneyland vlogs? I have not been able to do a vlog for a while. It's kind of been like with this channel, you know what I mean? I haven't been able to make videos recently, and with Disneyland, I haven't been making, like, I've been trying to create vlogs at Disney, but again, sometimes it's kind of tough, so I am gonna be, for the most part, doing kind of like a, that's kind of what my later vlogs have been, really. I've been trying to do, like, just recording footage of being at Disneyland and doing stuff, and, you know, basically just doing voiceover, because I'm kind of more comfortable with that. But, yeah, either way, like, that's probably what I'm going to be doing tomorrow for most of the stuff. I want to try to capture as much as I can, literally. But, what was it that I was, oh yeah, what I was gonna say, because I did still say that I was going to, create, like, just I guess you could say a special vlog for this channel, because I did ask in the, I did ask in, one of the posts that I did a poll, and I'm still shocked that you guys said, yeah, we'd like to see a vlog from you from Disneyland on this channel, which I'm only going to do once. Only doing that once, okay? This is not me being like, oh, I want you to go to the other channel, watch my blah, 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 blah. I just only am going to do it once, because vlogs, I've tried doing vlogs on this channel before, and they've never really worked. And so, that's why I'm not doing vlogs here. That's why I kind of created another channel for that. I mean, that one, you know, it's slow and it's blah, 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 but it's like, let's just do a dedicated channel and what have you. So, yeah, but I'm gonna do it. I'm going to possibly try to do a little vlog tomorrow for the channel, because I'm gonna be doing a vlog regardless, because again, it's the 70th, but I might try to do a little vlog tomorrow for this channel. I don't know, I can't make any promises. I'm gonna be going to Disneyland a lot in the summer, probably, so if anything, I'm gonna, you know, it'll be coming out at some point. I just don't know when. But yeah, so that's I'm looking forward to tomorrow. It's gonna be pretty awesome. So yeah, very excited. There was a question about let's see. It's great to see that you're still having your Disneyland plans. Oh yeah, absolutely. I usually never cancel my Disneyland trips unless I really have to. And it's been rare that that's ever had to come to that, but yeah, usually I just go, whether it is for a vlog or I just want to hang out, because usually I just want to do something. You know what I mean? Whether it is I'm hanging out with a friend of mine or just maybe going out to eat or going to Disney. Like, for me, like, again, those trips since I'm paying monthly on a Magic Key, which is essentially their annual pass, like anytime I go to a trip, I'm not paying $100 and something each time going there. I get half off on parking and I get discounts on food, blah blah blah. So yeah, my trips to Disneyland are not really that expensive, so that's why I'm able to go so often. So yeah, let's see. I personally like Six Flags more. I'm not that big of a roller coaster guy, you know. Like I want to be able to get to that point where I'm getting on like much more intense roller coasters, but I just have not gotten there yet. So I don't know when the heck that will happen, but and I don't know. It depends, but like yeah, that's just where I'm at. Like I'm personally just not like a huge roller coaster dude. And it kind of depends on, like, what the kind of, well, or at least, I'm not somebody that really likes, like, say, or it's not that I don't like inversions. I never tried inversions, but I'm too afraid to try inversions, you know what I mean? So Six Flags, they got a couple of rides for me to go, you know, get on the yada yada yada, but, like, I rarely make my way out there unless, say, somebody invites me and we decide to go, whatever. But it's rare that I'm going to go because, like, a majority of the rides, I'm just not going to get on. You know what I mean? Maybe that changes someday. I don't know. But that's kind of what it is. You know what I mean? I'm more of a Knott's person. Yeah, Knott's. I haven't been to Knott's Berry Farm since the end of 2023. I used to have a pass at Knott's Berry Farm, and I never... excuse me, I never renewed my pass because I thought I had an auto pay or auto renewal, but I guess they took away that option, and so I just never ended up getting another pass, which sucks because I missed Merry Farm last year and I missed Boysenberry Festival twice this year and last year. So I mean, you know, it is what it is though, but it sucks. I just got to reinstate I got to get another pass to Knott's Berry Farm. So, I don't know when, but hopefully that can be sometime soon, because I don't want to miss going to Knott's Berry Farm for another one of their festivals or something. I've never done Ghost Town Alive, and I would love to do that. Let's see. Going to Disneyland is exhausting. Oh, don't I know it? Don't I freaking know how exhausting it is to be at Disney? You're doing a ton of walking. Seriously, try going to Disneyland from opening to closing. Opening at 8 o'clock and closing at 12 in the morning. Try that. You'll totally be freaking exhausted. I mean, the trick really is to not push yourself, obviously. Like, you gotta really pace. I mean, especially if you're gonna be on a day like that. You definitely gotta pace as much as you can. You know what I mean? Like... there's no reason to rush everything and whatnot. Take a lot of times where you're just sitting down, whether you're watching like a show. They kind of have it. Well, they don't really have any like in-theater shows right now, which sucks. I hope they can bring that back someday. But, you know, sit down at a restaurant for a while, or go to like the Animation Academy at California Adventure and just sit in there for like an hour or two or whatever. Find any ways where you can just literally take the time to sit down, or ride the train at Disneyland, you know what I mean? That's like a 30-minute ride. It gives you a break from standing in line for a long time or just walking, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what I do. And drink plenty of water. They thankfully have water bottle refilling stations around Disney, so you don't really have to buy water over there. I mean, if you want to, that's fine, but just bring your own water bottle. And that, trust me, that saves a ton of money, and you get to refill it anytime you want. So it's a good benefit. I've been to Knott's a lot more than any other theme park. That used to have been, well, yes and no. Because again, I used to have a Knott's Berry Farm pass, and I would go a good chunk of times when I had a pass. Especially because with Knott's Berry Farm, like, during the week, unless it's the summertime, obviously when everybody's out of school and yada yada yada, then it's not the same story. But when kids are in school, people are working, when it's like Monday through Friday before a certain period of time, the park is empty. And it's blissful. You will never get that at Disneyland. But at Knott's Berry Farm, you can go in there on a weekday and it'll be empty. There'll be barely anybody in there. You can get on all the rides with little to no wait. It's bliss. It's amazing. I miss those days. I should go back and do that at some point. Let me see. It's best to be hydrated with a water bottle, though Disney water is expensive. Yeah, there's a brand of water that they sell at Disney, I think. I mean, I don't know these things really because I don't shop a lot at Disney. Like, the amount of times I've been at Disney... Hold on a second, actually. Oh, it's this one. Okay, let's save that one. I actually like that song. Okay, but yeah. And hold on just for a quick second. Oh, while I'm actually here, because I just messaged him, most likely, Gary the editor is not going to be able to make an appearance in chat today, because he is dealing with a family situation right now. His brother ended up having a little bit of an accident, and it currently is in the ER, and they're kind of just checking what's going on, if he's okay, if anything is messed up or whatever. So, like, he says he's fine and everything, though, but, you know, just to make sure, they're just making sure that everything is good. So that's where Alex is right now. He's not the one. Again, it's his brother that had a little bit of an issue, an accident at school. So, yeah. So he's not going to be in chat today. It's just in case any of you guys were wondering. Yeah. But, yeah, I think, when I go to Disney, I barely, Also, very quickly, I know there's a couple of people that are talking about, like Max, HBO Max, and certain other things like that. Trust me, we will get into that in this chat, alright? We will get into the stream, alright? I'm just, kind of yapping right now, just talking about random stuff, and then we'll go ahead and get into it, alright? So, yeah. But, again, when I go to Disney, I don't really do a lot of shopping. Like, I barely get anything for merch. The most I get is, like, popcorn, usually, because it's only $6, and then I'll eat, like, either lunch or dinner, depending on the day that I'm going to be there. I'm obviously going to be there all day tomorrow, so I'm most likely going to be getting breakfast, maybe a snack, and lunch. I mean, not lunch, dinner, I think, because I don't know if I want to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, unless there's, like, one of these items that I can get that's like only $8 or something, because that exists. So, yeah. But yeah, I think that was about it though. But yeah, but definitely, but either way, I heard that there was like some sort of brand of water that Disney sells. It's not the only brand of water that they sell at like one of their concession stands or something, but they have one. And I think it's like $7 or $10, which is ridiculous. Like, water should not be that expensive. I don't know what the heck is going on with these companies. Like, and it's crazy because you look up the actual brand and their water bottle, like, almost anywhere they go is that expensive. And so it's like, it's not a Disney thing charging you that much, but it's like, Disney, you probably shouldn't get that brand of water. It's too expensive, but obviously people buy it. So yeah, it's nuts. But yeah. So that's Disney even has water bottle collectibles. Yeah, technically, like I know they have a water bottle, or at least a drink container that's in the shape of like the Scream canisters that you see in Monsters Inc., which is pretty cool. I'm not even sure if I probably would get that if I wanted to. But again, I don't really do a lot of merch shopping at all. But that's kind of a cool collector's item there. They have some other stuff, but that's the most memorable one, the one that could really come off the top of my head. Because, again, I don't go into, like, a lot of the gift shops at Disney. Like, I'll go in there every now and then to see what kind of merch they have and what have you. But, yeah, again, I don't really tend to, excuse me, I don't really tend to get, merch at all. It's kind of rare. So, and even then, all the Disney shirts that I do have, which is like maybe 3 or 4, no, I think it's 3. All of them are from like, I think one is from Walmart and 2 of them are from Target. Actually, they might have all been from Target. I don't know. But, yeah, that's kind of just how, about what it is, you know, so it's, yeah. I intentionally stay away from internet drama. Oh, about the Saber Spark situation. Yeah, that's definitely not something I'm gonna particularly talk about. Saber and I Love Kim Possible's another Depp and her drama. I mean, yeah, quickly, pretty much. Like, I have never seen a school bus driving through my neighborhood. That was kind of weird. Okay, interesting. Yeah, but I did, like, kind of see what was going on there, and just the whole, like, messy situation with her making the video and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like, I'm not really gonna talk all that much about it. That's kind of just not usually the kind of topics I talk about on this channel at all, or just usually in general. I pay attention to that stuff, trust me, but, you know. But yeah, it was definitely a mess. Mainly with how I Love Kim Possible, like, made the video and included evidence that wasn't really evidence. She even said it was hearsay and blah, blah, blah. So it's a whole situation. Like, it's messy. I did watch Saber Spark's video responding to everything and, you know, debunking things as best as he could. So, yeah. But it's again, it's crazy. It's legitimately crazy. Let me see if there's anything else. For Art Style says, what are your top 5 parks? Honestly, it's going to be a little biased because I think a majority of them are going to be in California. Because, I mean, I've been to California and obviously I've been to Walt Disney World too. But yeah, I would say my top 5. One, honestly, probably is going to be Disneyland. 2 would be... I would say 2 is... What the heck? Okay. 2 probably would be... Yeah, why not? California Adventure. 3 would be, maybe Universal Studios. 4 would be Knott's. And 5... I'm not really sure about 5, if I even have a 5. Well, I guess we can hop over across you know, or hop over to Florida for this one. I probably would have to say, Animal Kingdom at, Disney World. But at the same time, it's Animal Kingdom before Pandora became a thing, because I have not been to Walt Disney World since, like, 2011. So, it's been a long time since I've been there. Yeah. Let's see. It's called, Super Mario World. What are we talking about? Are we talking about the movie? Oh, have they released the title for that? Because, I mean, I know there's been, like, some upfronts coming out, or upfronts this week, and certain things have come out. Like, I was gonna make a video, possibly, about this as well, but, you know, since we're doing a live stream, I guess that's one of the things we can talk about for a little bit. Cocomelon is coming out with a movie in 2027. Cocomelon is coming out with a movie in 2027. What do I even say to that? Cocomelon. What would you even possibly like? What would the plot even be? Would it be like a 90-minute or what 75-minute freaking movie just based on nursery rhymes or something? Would it be about him and his love for singing nursery rhymes? What the hell is it? What is a like what? Like I don't even know. Like, how do you even respond to that? A Cocomelon movie. And look, I get it. Cocomelon is huge. It's big on Netflix. It's big on YouTube. It still gets millions of views, which is insane. But, like, I just don't... Look, even when, like, Baby Shark got announced that they were going to be doing their own movie, at least I could somewhat kind of see if they could have some kind of a plot with that. Mainly because you had a Baby Shark show, right? But, and technically, yes, Cocomelon also has another show on Netflix. One that's separate from just the freaking nursery rhymes. I forgot what it was even called, but like, I don't even know what that's about. Maybe it's going to be kind of a spin-off of that show on Netflix. I literally have no idea. I have no idea. But, Cocomelon. I just personally, I don't get it. Like, it's called Cocomelon Lane. Cocomelon Lane. Okay, what even is that? Cocomelon Lane. Cocomelon Lane. Yeah, there it is. It's got a 3.8 rating on IMDb. Oh my god. And it has 4 seasons. What the heck? Is it still ongoing? Yeah, I guess it's still a thing. I will never really understand how Cocomelon is so popular. I don't get it. And it's mainly because how can parents stand to just listen to that? You know what I mean? I have a cousin who, she has a little girl. I think she's 3? No, I think she turned 4 this year. I think she turned 4. And she's a big fan of Bluey, right? I think I mentioned this in like a live a while ago. Me, my cousin, her mother, and her little girl all went to see the Bluey live show when it came to LA. Because again, it was crazy because I ended up getting a ticket because I was like, you know what? It's here. I kind of have to see the show. I'm very curious about it. And somehow, I think my cousin saw a story that I posted on my Instagram about me going to see the Bluey show, and she was like, "Oh, you're going to see Bluey that day and this time? Oh, we're going too. Why don't we pick you up and we all drive over to the Dolby Theater and we see the show together." Obviously, we had separate, seats and stuff. But either way though, she's like a pretty big fan of Bluey. But she's also a fan of Cocomelon. And not all the time, but sometimes when I would be over at their place, for like a family get-together or whatever, they would tend to play either Bluey on the big TV or they would play Cocomelon on the television. And for me, I'm kind of like, I look at my cousin, I'm like, how do you do it? like how do you handle listening to Cocomelon so many times? Like, I would drive myself insane doing that. Because, like, I don't know, like, was there, and maybe this is normal when you're a parent, because I'm sure there was probably a couple of things that we probably were watching when we were kids, like things that we were watching or things that we were listening to. Like Baby Einstein. Does anybody remember Baby Einstein in the chat? You probably would have to be around my age to remember that, I think. But even then, I think that one was definitely, from what I remember, Baby Einstein's was tame compared to what Cocomelon is. You know? So even then, I don't know if parents could have been really annoyed with Baby Einstein's, you know? I don't know. But like, what I'm saying though is that I feel as though shows that we had when we were like children at the, you know, like either 2, 3, or 4 years old at that time, I don't think they were nearly this bad. And again, I could be wrong. I literally don't know. Like, this is coming from somebody that's talking about, like, nostalgia stuff and yada, 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 or just remembering the stuff I used to watch when I was that young. And obviously, if I was a fan of it, I wasn't really going to look at that and be like, oh, I bet you that was annoying to my parents and blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't know. But literally, I have no idea if it was kind of annoying to them. Like, say, Blue's Clues, for example. Did parents find a show like that to be a little annoying? Did they find... I wonder if they found Dora annoying. You know what I mean? So like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe it's just a regular thing that stuff for little kids, for toddlers and what have you, probably is fairly annoying to parents. Or usually it's going to tend to be annoying to parents. But again, I don't know. I can't really say for certain, but I feel like things that are for toddlers today, and I'm not talking about, say, shows that you have on Nick Jr. or shows on Cartoonito, rest in peace to that, or shows on Disney Jr., right? I'm not even necessarily talking about those shows, because those are somewhat in the same vein as the style of shows that we had when we were kids. Somewhat, you know what I mean? But I'm talking specifically about the stuff that you have access to online, like Cocomelon, Baby Shark, Doggyland with Snoop Dogg. Even that one's not really that bad-ish, you know what I mean? But it's, you know, stuff like that, right? Where we all call it brain rot and stuff. I feel like those are probably, arguably, way worse than any of the stuff that we had. And most likely is because, you know, since it's the internet, you don't really have to go through a bunch of, like, executives and, you know, all these people making decisions at the top saying, hey, this is the kind of show we want. This is what we have to do and blah, 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 blah. You technically don't have to do that if you're creating any sort of programming for children on YouTube. You know what I mean? It's a much different feel when it comes to YouTube compared to getting a show on television. So that is probably why it's like that. You know what I mean? So that's honestly like my personal opinion. But yeah, like, I don't know. But a Cocomelon freaking movie. What sucks is that it just basically lets us know Cocomelon is not going anywhere. It lets us know that Cocomelon is here to stay for quite some time. I think Baby Shark has definitely lost a lot of its, like, steam. Like, it was very big at the time, and I don't think it is as big as it used to be. Like, don't get me wrong, like, you go into their channel, it still gets views and yada, 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 but it's not nearly as talked about as it used to be. But, I don't think it necessarily had that long of a staying power as much as Cocomelon does. Which is a shame. Which is a shame because Cocomelon is much worse. And yeah, I could not be a parent in this day and age. I just couldn't. Especially, to be very, very vague, with everything that is going on in this world right now in 2025, no. This is the worst time to be a parent. Or the worst time it's the worst time to try to become a parent. Now is not the time. It just isn't. that's all I'm gonna say. Take that as you will, but it is not a good time to be a parent. It just isn't. Good lord. Would you rather watch Super Jailed more than Cocomelon? I don't even know what that is. Super Jailed? The heck? No. How's that turned to an H? I still have no idea what that is. I don't know. It's not really even giving me an answer. I'd watch anything besides Cocomelon. Now, ask me, what would I rather watch? Teen Titans Go or Cocomelon? Then I would probably choose Cocomelon. Because at least I don't get, like... Cocomelon, my brain literally just shuts off. And I'm just like, okay, I need to leave. Whereas with Teen Titans Go, I just get so annoyed that it's like... I've blocked Teen Titans Go out from my mind so much. Anytime it appears on television, if it's like Cartoon Network, I completely just skip it. Or not skip it, but I completely just flip the channel instantly. I don't even want to see... I'm whatever with Cocomelon. I don't like it, but it's whatever. Teen Titans Go, I don't even want to see them. Like, that's how it is. But yeah. Super Jail is an Adult Swim show, but in the same time, do you know any other adult shows you may know? I mean, not really. Like, I don't watch Adult Swim. Really, like, I watch. Yeah. I don't really watch a lot of Adult Swim, to be honest. Like, I did when I was much younger when it came to Family Guy, but now I'm not really into Family Guy at all. I'll check out American Dad sometimes, and same with King of the Hill, but that's kind of really about it. I never really cared about any of the other shows that they have to offer, except for, what? No. Well, technically the other one was Unicorn Warriors Eternal, but that was literally because it was going to be on Cartoon Network, but it moved to Adult Swim, so we already know about that, and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, so with Teen Titans Go, at least used to be somewhat decent in the first season. Yeah, agreed. It's gotten progressively worse after that. But yeah, with Adult Swim, like, yeah, with most of the other shows, like, I don't really care about Rick and Morty. And I think a part of when it comes to Rick and Morty is that, like, I got a little annoyed with it because of how, like, some of the fans are, and they talk about, like, oh, it's the greatest thing in the world, or blah, 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 or something. I don't know. And I just never really got, like, interested in it at all. Yeah, I mean, if anything, I'm not really all that into adult animation. I just personally don't care for it. The only, like, show that I kind of actively watch is South Park on Comedy Central. Like, that show, it has its ups and downs, like, mainly in the later seasons. Like, it kind of gets a little rough sometimes, but, man, when it comes to, like, the first maybe 10, 12 or something seasons, it's peak. It is such a good freaking show. Like, I watch it every day now because they air it all the time on Comedy Central, and so I'm kind of, and sometimes I'll either watch a lot of South Park, and then sometimes I'll kind of dip out of watching South Park. And so I'm kind of like rewatching some of the episodes, and I'm like, man, this show is freaking hilarious. Like, I kind of can't get enough of it. South Park has so many out of context moments that you could probably make a movie out of it. Funny thing, Gary the editor, he had another channel where he would make, like, videos where it was just all of these clips from South Park in, like, certain seasons. Or it might have just been random clips from any episode, I think. And he had plenty of them on his channel. And he was, like, he got some fairly good views from it. But they ended up eventually flagging down, like, a lot of his videos. So he took all the videos down, and those channels were just pretty much gone. So yeah, but excuse me, but yeah, I agree. There's a lot of like there's something. I mean, specifically in the earlier seasons, you'll have like so many moments in South Park that are just so random. One of my favorite episodes recently when it comes to South Park is when they're either in Canada or it's about the Canadians. Like, those segments alone are just freaking hilarious. It's funny how they make the Canadians look, or just how the Canadians are in general in South Park. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the Canadians in this season. Again, especially with everything that's going on right now, because I think they air new episodes of South Park in June. Is it June or July? I'm not sure. But either way, I'm very curious to see like what they do this season. It's gonna be because this year 2025 has been a complete mess, and I'm pretty sure that they have a lot of material to work with. Good lord. So yeah. Besides season 20, South Park seems to be one of the few shows to not suffer from seasonal rot. Yeah, I think so. I mean, well, yeah, but I wonder if, like, I mean, part of it, I think, when it comes to South Park is probably because of the fact that, for the most part, it kind of satirizes a lot of current events. And then they also kind of take a lot of their jokes and moments in an episode from, like, maybe certain TV shows, or make a lot of, like, TV show or movie references and stuff like that. And so I think that's partially why they have not been able, they haven't hit a lot of seasonal rot just yet. You know what I mean? That's kind of my guess, honestly. So that's kind of like, that's at least how I see it. I'm sure if oh goodness, if Gary the editor, Alex, were to be here, he probably would say the same thing, roughly. You know what, I can still ask him. You know, just do it on the computer. Because he can still message me still, at least. Because I'm kind of curious to see what he says about that. Because, as I said in the last stream, if you've been here, he is a huge fan of South Park. Question from stream. There we go. Well, let's see. Let's see if he responds. South Park will always be my #1 favorite adult cartoon. I think so. Because also, excuse me, because also, like, when it comes to, like, say, Comedy Central, they've always tried to, what's your favorite season of South Park? That's a tough one for me, honestly. I would really have to, consider, like, really think hard about that one. I'm not really sure. That's a really good question. Yeah, Comedy Central, like, from what I've noticed, they usually try to create other cartoons that are, like, kind of similar to South Park, and they never hit the mark. They just never hit the mark. Not a lot of people like South Park's offensive commentary. Well, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, but South Park is supposed to be offensive. It's supposed to. There are plenty of freaking scenes that I watch where it's definitely offensive, and I still happen to laugh at it. Like, even when my mom was still around, she would watch South Park, and there would be a lot of very offensive jokes, and she would be laughing at it too. Like, we would just have, like, there was the episode, It's not. I think it's called. It's not funny, or it's not funny to abduct your children. I think that's what the episode was called. It was basically all of the parents of South Park were getting paranoid about who was out there capturing or kidnapping their kids, and so one of the things they wanted to do was build a wall around their town, and they ended up getting the only Chinese resident of South Park to build a wall. Because, oh, you're Chinese, you can build a wall, and yada, yada, yada. And then also, when he built the wall, you had some Mongolians coming in and always trying to break down the wall. And we both just thought that that was hilarious. I still laugh my ass off to this day every single time I watch that. I would mention one other episode that I personally think is hilarious, but I'm not going to really get into that one because that one, it's controversial for certain people, but it's also, you know, a lot of people know, oh, it's South Park, they're going to make fun of everybody. Not any sort of group is safe and blah, 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 so it's a whole thing. But anyway, Alex did respond, and let's see what he says. When it comes to why South Park hasn't really hit seasonal rot like, say, a lot of other shows. He says, they managed to keep the season short to only 10 to 6 episodes now. Primetime animated shows such as Family Guy or The Simpsons, for example, have 22 episodes each season. It basically is quality over quantity. It's basically quality over quantity with South Park. Yep. It also helps that Matt Stone and Trey Parker are some of the most honest, no bullshit writers in all of Hollywood. They know what they're doing. Honestly, I think that's a very good answer. So yeah, honestly, I think I agree with that. Like, I mean, I will admit, it does suck that South Park is only a show that only has like 6 episodes per and there he is. He makes an appearance in the chat. Awesome. But yeah, I think I will say it does suck that South Park only has like 6 episodes per year and per season. But honestly though, like, I will say I do kind of agree with that it is able to, like, because you don't have to put out 22 episodes all the time, they probably have less of a possibility to run out of a bunch of ideas. You know what I mean? And again, because of the fact that it is usually satirizing a lot of current event things, right? That tends to be the reason, I think, as to why they're able to stay so fresh. Other shows don't really have that luxury, especially considering that South Park literally creates their episodes 6 days before it has to air. Right? Like, the week of it going to, or yeah, 6 days before it airs is basically like, that's when they're writing it, filming it, recording it, animating it, all that stuff. So that is another reason why they're able to stay so fresh, is because they can pump out episodes, or they pump out episodes literally in a week. You know what I mean? Other shows literally do not have that luxury. They don't. So, there's, like, I think that also kind of pretty much answers the question why they're able to stay fresh and they don't have necessarily a lot of, like, seasonal rot and stuff like that. So, yeah. And I'm pretty sure Alex probably would agree with that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he is able to listen in the, yeah, man, out of all the streams I can't speak on because I'm occupied, it has to be the one where you're talking about South Park. Oh my god. You know what? Honestly, one of these days, probably not necessarily about South Park, but I think South Park probably would be brought up anyway. But it would be fun, and that would just really have to work around his schedule, if anything. But it would be cool if, like, we could have, Alex on a call, right? Like, maybe he and I do, like, a Discord call or something, and that could be, like, a stream. You know what I mean? So I'm, like, chatting with him, and he's talking, we can banter, and yada, yada, yada. You guys can ask him questions in the chat, and he can answer, and all that stuff. I think that would be cool. That's only if that would be something he'd be interested in, and if it works within his schedule. I will be down for that. Okay, sweet. One of these days, I don't know when, but one of these days we'll set that up. Cause like we literally were on a Discord call last week, I think. It might have been Friday or Saturday. I don't remember which day it was, but no, it couldn't have been Saturday. Because wasn't that... I streamed on Saturday, didn't I? No, I streamed... Was it Friday? No, it might have been Friday that I was streaming. I don't even remember. But either way, we were on a call last week. And basically, like, we were kind of... Because he was setting up a Letterboxd account for me. And we were on a Discord call, and so we were talking about, like, my favorite animated movies, what I rated them, and yada, yada, yada. Which hopefully we can do that again at some point, because, again, that was fun. And I keep forgetting, today's Thursday, not Friday. But yeah, like, we were doing it was Friday that you streamed. Okay, that's what I thought, yeah. But yeah, when we were kind of, like, doing the Discord call and chatting with each other, we... essentially, again, we're just talking, and we were on the call for about, like, maybe 2 hours or so. And while we were doing that, I didn't bring up the idea to him, but I was kind of like, hey, you know, maybe we could do something like this as a stream one day. So that's how I kind of basically got that, that idea. And so I think it would be fun. I would love to do a stream with Alex. I remember I did a stream once with, my friend Javon a long time ago. So it'd be fun to be able to have somebody else on the stream as well. So yeah, that'd be cool. Wolf, are you gonna vote for the KCAs now? I didn't even know that was open. I mean, you know, honestly, I mean, we could do that. We could do that. Like, I don't know. Would that be something that you guys are remotely interested in a stream? Or would you want to just have that be a video and just go from there? You know what I mean? Like, cuz I would probably, cuz honestly it's kind of fun to do it as a video straight up, but like, I mean, if it's something to do like as a stream thing, that'd be fine. I hope SpongeBob gets disqualified in the KCAs. It's not gonna happen. No matter what, he's gonna win. He's like, I mean, it's there's no point of complaining about it. There's no point of even hoping that there's 1 year that it's not gonna happen. But no, like it's just he's going to win it. There's literally no point. It's just gonna happen. Gotta go for a bit. Not sure if I'll be able to come back in time, but I do like the idea of doing a stream with Josh. I'm surprised we haven't done that yet. Yeah, same. I'm surprised too. But we also never did a Discord stream before. I mean, Discord call before either. So, excuse me. So yeah, like I think that would be I think that'd be fun. That would definitely be fun. So again, one of these days we will set that up. If it works with my schedule and his schedule, then we'll go ahead and do a Regularjosh1 and a Gary the Editor stream. That would be very cool, yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for joining in. I'm glad you were able to. Again, I'm hoping that everything is okay with your brother. I'll be in messages. You know, you know that. I'll message you after the stream and yada, yada, yada. So, yeah. But I'm hoping everything goes well. Regular Josh, have you been to Universal's Fan Fest recently? I heard it's super fun. No, I wanted to go this year, but I just was not able to I just wasn't really able to have the time to go. And I wish I could go this weekend. But it's just not necessarily possible for me to go this weekend. Same with Knott's Berry Farm's Boysenberry Festival. It ends this weekend, and I wish I could go, but unfortunately, I just can't. But yeah, it looks incredible. The thing that I really wish I was able to do, was do. I want to go see Yoshi, give him a hug, and tell him he's solo Mario for me. So is Mario for me. You know, I'm sure you probably know this, Andrew. Yoshi, they have the original Yoshi, the green Yoshi, at FanFest, but they also had the blue and pink Yoshi at FanFest as well, which is freaking awesome. People were I think that has some of the longest lines at FanFest, I believe, because so many people wanted to meet Yoshi. And honestly, like, I think even after FanFest ends this weekend, they should just have Yoshi as a regular meet and greet. You know what I mean? Like, I hope they do. Because that would be cool. Because you got Mario and Luigi in Nintendo World at Universal Studios. You also got Peach, and you got Toad. So, it would be, why not have, Yoshi? That would be pretty freaking awesome. And, I mean, I think what would also kind of be awesome, and I'm not fully sure if that would be something that could happen, but, what would be cool is if they could even have, like, a Bowser costume. Again, I'm not fully sure how they would be able to do that. I mean, they probably could, but again, I don't know. I'm not really sure about the semantics, you know? Either way, that would be really cool. That would be really cool if they were able to pull it off. So Star says it'll probably happen when Warner Brothers Discovery split off their services. DVC will go to the cables channel, and I mean, yeah, I forgot about that. Let's see, because we will get into the chat about HBO Max, because it's changing back to HBO Max. You know what? Let's talk about that right now. Max. So, I think it's honestly kind of crazy, right? So, we're in 2023, right? We're still HBO Max at that point, but I think it was early in 2023, or was it late 2022? That part I don't remember. They announced that they're going to consolidate HBO Max and Discovery Plus into one solid streaming app. And it was just going to be called Max. Remove HBO and call it Max. And it was funny because when everybody saw that rebrand, everybody, even other companies, like on Twitter at that time, was making fun of them because it was such a stupid name change. Nobody liked it. And because we rebranded to Max and they started adding a bunch of I keep saying Disney Plus, Discovery Plus stuff onto the streaming service, that in turn caused them to take away a lot of other content that they previously had to make room for the reality TV shows that Discovery Channel has, or just Discovery in general as a company has access to. And that's very ironic, isn't it? Because here's the thing. Just recently, right, Max removed a crap ton of Discovery Plus content. Actually, what's even funnier about that was that, remember, Discovery Plus was supposed to go away. It was just going to be a part of the new Max service, right? But people who were subscribers of the original Discovery Plus app, they were not necessarily happy about that, and I think it had something to do with how it was going to be more expensive, because Discovery Plus, I guess, isn't that expensive. I think it's one of the more cheaper streaming services out there. I don't really know necessarily. Either way, because people were not necessarily happy about that, they decided, okay, you know what? We will keep Discovery Plus as an app. You guys don't have to worry about that. We will still be moving some stuff or adding some content to our new Max streaming service. But Disney, I keep saying Disney, D+, that's why. But Discovery Plus, Disney Plus, Discovery Plus, you can see how I'm getting confused. But either way, Discovery Plus, that is an app that is not going anywhere and is staying the same price. So you guys don't have to worry, blah, 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 blah. So there you go. And so, what's a little funny about that is come 2 years later, in 2025, what do? Well, they remove, well, for one, they continued over the years from 2023 to now, they continue removing a lot of shows, like say Cartoon Network, for example. Cartoon Network currently only has 10 shows on Max right now, or HBO Max. But for right now, I'm just going to call it Max. They only have 10 shows. That hub is completely useless. It's mostly gone. Why? Because they've been basically giving a lot of their shows to Hulu. And I don't really understand that. Because you would think that a company that obviously owns Cartoon Network and owns a lot of their shows would be streaming their owned content. But for whatever reason, they're not licensing said content, and they're giving it to Hulu, which is also now being bundled. Well, I mean, you still have Hulu separately, but is now also bundled with Disney Plus. So basically, now Disney Plus essentially has a lot of those shows. That's if you have the bundle. If you have the bundle, then you have a lot of access to Cartoon Network shows on Disney Plus. Hulu is a joint membership between Disney, Warner Brothers, and Fox. Disney is the majority shareholder. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah. Yep, Cartoon Network only has 10 shows left on Max. Yeah, and that's crazy. Like, at that point, honestly, and let's be serious, I think that's most likely going to happen with the direction of where Warner Brothers Discovery is wanting to go. I think they should just kind of get rid of the Cartoon Network hub on Max. Because what's the point? They only have 10 shows. Like, that's ludicrous. You might as well just put all of the Cartoon Network stuff on Hulu. At this point, get rid of it and just make Cartoon Network officially a Hulu brand, not Hulu brand, though, but just make it where it's only, like, I guess exclusively on Hulu or something. I don't know. That is honestly something they might as well do. That's what they should do. And yeah, so that was going on throughout the years, right? Cartoonito, that's also another situation. Even before it was called Cartoon... Well, no, actually, when Cartoonito was a thing, they had a bunch of preschool shows on Cartoonito's hub in general at the time, when it began, right? Because they had shows on the block that used to air on Cartoon Network, which is going away in a week or in 2 weeks. And they had a bunch more on HBO Max at the time. And then, obviously, as you can see, over the years, it was massively cut down, and they barely have any shows on Max. It's not even called Cartoonito anymore, because Cartoonito has become irrelevant, and that is mainly because of Warner Brothers Discovery themselves. Because let's be serious here. Cartoonito was heavily promoted when Cartoon Network was still owned by AT&T, Warner Media, yada yada yada. Whereas when it came to Max, or when it came to Warner Brothers Discovery, it was just nothing but take away from Cartoon Network, Cartoonito, and yada yada yada. Even to the point where when it came to the marketing team for Cartoon Network, that's been cut. I don't even know if they have anybody on that team anymore. Or, I mean, they probably do, but, like, how many? 1, 2? I don't know. Clearly not a good enough team, because it's kind of a mess right now with Cartoon Network. Even so much so to the point where you have some shows that are currently airing on Cartoon Network, and even their coming up next bumpers, right, is literally just... it's lazy. Because usually they'll have, like, a video clip of the show when they're saying, hey, coming up next is Amazing with a Gumball or something. But now it's just text. Coming up next and text of, this is the show that we're airing right now. It's stupid. It's literally ridiculous. I thought Cartoonito had good potential, in my opinion. It did! That's the thing. It had good potential. And it had, like... a plan in place at the time where it could have become somewhat of a success. Maybe not as big as Nick Jr. or as big as Disney Jr. Probably wouldn't have happened, but it would have been good enough to where, yeah, now you have 3 channels. You have Nick Jr., you got Disney Jr., and you got Cartoonito, right? There would have been plenty of stuff for any kid, for kids to see. That's what it was, you know? And I thought they had, how do I put this? They had something good going, right? And you could tell that the people that were behind the idea of Cartoonito coming to the US, or at least like with the branding and the shows that they were bringing over, the team dedicated to that really wanted this to work, right? You could really tell that they, because I think with when Cartoon Network tried to do it many years ago with Tickle You, I don't think they had a good enough team, because a lot of the shows that were airing on Tickle You at the time, I don't think anybody even remembers or even talks about. They're all kind of pretty much forgotten about, right? Whereas with Cartoonito, they were bringing in a lot of stuff that, I mean, mainly stuff that had, like, that were kind of associated with IPs and stuff, like Thomas and Friends, All Engines Go, obviously. You had Mecha Builders, which is Sesame Street, Bugs Bunny Builders, obviously Looney Tunes, Lucas the Spider, which was a huge, kind of, I guess, I wouldn't call it YouTube series, but it was huge on YouTube, regardless, when he was making his own animations, right? Care Bears at the time, now Barney and Bat Wheels, right, which is obviously DC, Batman, and everything like that. Like, it had, obviously, it was heavily reliant in a way on, like, IPs, being, like, having, like, preschool stuff and what have you, but at the same time, like, they kind of had the tools in which, and kind of had the shows in which it was probably way more possible for the word to get out there that, hey, we got Cartoonito, and here's the shows, and here's shows that maybe kids will be very interested in, and yada, yada, yada. And some of it worked, you know? Like, Bat Wheels, recently, I think it was, like, late last year or something, they got renewed for a 3rd season. Now, I don't know if the 3rd season is fully going to still come out. Like, it'd be great if it could, because I personally do enjoy the show, but I'm not really sure if it fully is going to come out, because let's kind of be serious here, with all of the things that's going on with Warner Brothers Discovery, with them trying to basically just not do kid stuff anymore, we're not really sure where that leads things, you know? Now, if they are going to possibly split their cable channels and have that be a separate company, kind of like with what, I think, is it Comcast doing that? Or is it, I think it's Comcast. Yeah, Comcast is the one that separated, like, their companies and, like, spun their cable companies or cable channels into a separate company, right? I think it's Comcast, the one that's doing that. But yeah, if Warner Brothers Discovery happens to actually do something similar, because now there are rumors that Warner Brothers Discovery is going to be splitting, or it seems like that is a huge possibility at this point. Because even then, when it came to, like, numbers, talking about Warner Brothers Discovery, and I think, like, this last quarter or something, if I can remember, they didn't really do a great, like, they didn't do great in terms of revenue, I think. Yeah, NBC Universal spinning off those networks. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I was correct. But yeah, like, I think, you know, because of, the fact that they didn't really do the greatest in the quarter, and they're still not really any better than where they were when I think they tried to pick up the pieces and try to clean up, like, the mess that was AT&T and everything, and, you know, trying to drive down, the amount of debt that they're in. I think that's probably why, there's rumor going on out there that a split from Warner Brothers and Discovery could happen at some point, right? You just never know. You never know. But let's say that if they were to spin off their cable companies and such like that, then maybe when it comes to, say, preschool shows on Cartoon Network, or... I mean, because here's another thing to talk about with this, right? Hopefully that split will actually happen. I'm kind of hoping for it, too. But, like, here's the thing when it comes down to it. At the end of the day, because that's kind of where it gets a little confusing when it comes to Cartoonito, right? Because we see, again, I think it's next week or in 2 weeks or something like that, Cartoonito is not airing. So it looks like Cartoonito is officially going to be ending its run on Cartoon Network, which, again, is whatever at this point, considering that it only lasts for an hour each day, so it's a little pointless, to be honest. But even with that being said, at the end of the day, Cartoon Network still has other preschool shows on the way, right? The Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, that show is still coming up. We have, again, Bat Wheels, that was renewed for a 3rd season. What else? You also have an Adventure Time show. I think if I can remember, it was called Heyo Bimo? Or was it just called Hey Bimo? Let me see. Yeah, Heyo Bimo. That's also another show that I know is in development. And that's also going to be coming too. There's also yes, and there's Barbara. That's based... If I can remember, that's based on, like, a book series, I think, about, like, a kid that has, like... I forgot if it was that she had some anger issues. I don't think it was anger issues. I don't fully remember what it was, but it had something to do, I guess, with, her feelings or whatnot. So I do remember that. So that's, like, 3 so far. And I think that was it. But yeah, like, those shows are currently in the works and are most likely still going to be coming over to Cartoon Network. So if that's the case, right, if Cartoonito is gone, where exactly are those going to be going? And if HBO Max is truly, going away from doing kids' content, right, then I think the real question is, are you still going to have any kind of kid content on their streaming service? Or are they slowly going to just mease that out, right? If that frame of words even makes sense. But, like, it kind of does make you wonder, in a way, like, what exactly is going to happen with that. I have a feeling that you will probably have a lot of the family content on HBO Max deciding to, starting to go away, probably. What about Barney's World? That's another good point. Barney's World, yeah. The real question is, will Barney's World be renewed for a 2nd season? Right? I mean, it's possible, because even on Cartoon Network, they still advertise it a lot. So, it could potentially still be doing very well on Cartoonito at the time. It's just, it's really hard to say. I honestly don't know. Virginia Lake sitting here waiting for my training meeting to start, but I just wanted to drop in and say hi. Happy Thursday. Have a great live stream. Oh yeah, happy Thursday. I'm glad that you were able to jump in for a little bit. I don't know when Five Fires Mondo is going to be doing his bonfire. I was hoping it was going to be, like, later on in the day, so it most likely is going to be, like, a late night bonfire, which, if that's the case, I hope to see you there, Virginia, alright? Hope to see you in this live stream. But, yeah, with Barney's World, again, it kind of really depends, honestly. I don't really know if it will be renewed for a 2nd season. It's possible. It is 100% possible. But, again, it just... I mean, and here's kind of the issue that kind of entails with all of this when it comes to Cartoonito and Cartoon Network and yada yada yada. There is literally just no vision right now for this network. We don't really know what the future holds for Cartoon Network in general. I mean, yes, we do have some new shows coming. All of them basically reboots or revivals or spin-offs, essentially, of their previous shows. But we're still getting something for Cartoon Network. So, like, I will say that. It's just still, where do they go from here, right? And just mainly, again, if they're kind of starting to pull away from doing kid content, or mainly family content, and focusing way more on, like, adult animation, then, like, yeah, where exactly are they going to go from here? And that's another thing to talk about for a quick second. They made somebody wrote an article talking about, like, Cartoon Network, the history, and its current downfall right now. And what was interesting about that article is that they mentioned Michael Oweleen, and I think they slightly interviewed Michael Oweleen, and not once did he remotely mention Cartoon Network. He didn't mention Cartoon Network at all. So, as far as, like, when it comes to him, his huge focus and his main goal right now is working on Adult Swim. And so, which, I mean, I get it, right? I think he mainly has worked with Adult Swim for most of his career, at least in terms of working, you know, within the inner workings of this company. But, yeah, just like how, as Kawaii Mation said, Michael doesn't really seem to have his interest in Cartoon Network. I don't think he does. I honestly really, really don't think he does. And I personally believe that what they should do, if they truly want to possibly save Cartoon Network or whatever, if they have any interest in that, is just have Michael Oweleen fully focus on Adult Swim. Because it's clear that's kind of the only thing that he really cares about. I don't think he cares that much about Cartoon Network. I think at one point he did, but then over time, he basically has just spent way more of his time on Adult Swim, and that's the only thing that he's really talking about, the only thing he's really focused on, and all of that. And so, he's kind of left Cartoon Network in the dust. What I think should happen is just have Michael Oweleen be the head of Adult Swim, and bring in somebody else to be the head of Cartoon Network. That's my personal opinion. Hell, maybe try to bring Tom Ashkine back if possible. Like, that would be an interesting turn of events if he were to come back as the head of Cartoon Network. That would be something. I doubt he would remotely be able to do even like 64 or 65% of the things that he wanted to do with the channel. But at least he still had some sort of a vision, you know? Whereas with Michael Oweleen, he said a couple of years ago that he wanted Cartoon Network to be a general animation channel, and that has never really come to light. You know what I mean? And so, because of that, like, you know, I think that's kind of just why Cartoon Network is in its, why it's in, like, the shape that it's in. To be fair, there is a lot going on in Adult Swim than in Cartoon Network. That is true. That is true. But at the same time, like, I still think they could have at least tried, you know, to have Cartoon Network, I don't know, be relevant, if that makes sense. Like, even if they have to acquire some shows for them to air, like, just, you know, do something. You know, because it kind of seems a little uneventful right now. And so, and obviously, if a channel like Cartoon Network is not having too many new things in general, usually, because it seems like almost every year they air at least maybe just one show or two new shows. And that's kind of it. But they just, regardless, if they really want Cartoon Network to survive, they just have to do better than what they're currently doing. And I can't say I have the answers for what that is. Mainly just have Michael Oweleen focus only on Adult Swim and just bring in somebody else to look after Cartoon Network and at least try to bring them into a different future or something. I don't know. I don't know. Like, that's my personal opinion. Maybe that's something that wouldn't work, but that's just how I see it. Um, they definitely got to try on what they have for Cartoon Network on air content, like how Stuart Snyder made Cartoon Network special aside from live action, but also risky animation content. Yeah, I don't really foresee them doing anything like that anymore. Mainly because I think with television, at least with like kid content right now or family content, they are way too careful with the kind of stuff that they put up. Things that like, or sometimes way too safe, which isn't necessarily bad, but you don't have like, I don't know. There's not a lot of experimental shows that you have anymore. So where it at least gets people talking about Cartoon Network, even if the shows are not really, like, great. Or maybe you do kind of strive a little bit from doing something that's what would be the norm when it comes to these cartoon shows, and maybe it becomes a hit or something. I don't know. But yeah, like, I would like somebody to, like, I don't know, just bring some life to Cartoon Network. That's what it needs, essentially. You know? And yeah, say what you will about, like, Stuart Snyder and how he brought out a bunch of live-action shows and yada, yada, yada. But, like, either way, there was still some fairly good things that came out of his tenure as president of Cartoon Network compared to what's going on right now with Michael Owaleen. So, that's my personal opinion. Again, I think, like, just have somebody that has somewhat of a vision. You know what I mean? But either way, let's continue talking about Max, or soon to be HBO Max. So here's my question when it comes to all of this. What exactly was the point of removing HBO and then just having it reinstated again? We went through all of that just for them to revert it back to what it was. Which is just weird to me. I, personally, do not really understand this move at all. Because, I mean, if anything, I think they could have just literally kept HBO Max as the name. You know what I mean? And I mean, yes, sure, I get it. They're bringing in the reality TV shows at the time, and maybe because of that, when it came to the name HBO, it would probably confuse people why Discovery Plus stuff was there, and yada, yada, yada. I don't know. But the name Max, I mean, if anything, it should not have just been Max. Like, they could have had another freaking title for this streaming service. Max is a dumb name. And I think people would have been fine if you took HBO from the title and just named it something else. Maybe WB Max or something. Warner Brother Max, or what, I don't know. But yeah, the name Max was incredibly freaking stupid. To the point where you had other companies that were making fun of them for this rebrand. And guess what? It's happening again. You already have, like, other companies. And I think also you even have Warner Brothers Discovery and their, like, their X pages. Stupid. But their Twitter pages even trying to feel as though they're, like, self-aware. Being like, hey guys, so look, we're HBO Max again. Ha ha ha. Or something like that. And you got, like, all these other companies that are kind of making fun of them from going from HBO Max to HBO Max again in the span of 5 years. So it's like, it's crazy. So, but you know, honestly, and here's the thing. There is a correlation as to why, because I kind of just remember here is somewhat of a correlation as to why it's happening this way. At least that's how I see it. Warner Brothers Discovery realized, just from data recently, that the kind of content that people like are scripted content, like movies and television shows and whatnot, dramas, documentaries, and the like. One of the things that many people were not interested in were the reality TV shows. So that's partially why a lot of the reality TV shows that Discovery had on Max has been removed. There's still some that are out there, but a majority of that is gone. And so now, what are they going to be focusing on again? Because don't forget, a lot of things that they were trying to do at the time was moved from doing a lot of scripted content and mainly focusing way more on reality shows. But that didn't really work out for them now, did it? Wow, they just figured that out? Literally, they just figured it out. In fact, I think I'm going to try to see if I can find an article that kind of talks about that. Not so we can necessarily, like, read through it, but just to kind of, like, look through. Actually, yeah, you know what? Why not? I'm going to go on their Warner Brothers. I'm curious to see what they have to say about this. Yeah, you know what? Why not? Let me... Actually, let's do it here. There it is. Okay. Alright, I'm going to do a little bit of screen share. There we go. So yeah, why not? I'm going to read over, probably not the whole thing, but I want to kind of just scroll through this. Because even they're kind of, coming soon, same app, newish name, the plot twist everyone's been waiting for. Max is becoming HBO Max, coming home this summer. I think they're trying to be like, oh yeah, guys, we're self-aware. We know what we're doing. I don't know. At the upfront, this presentation in New York today, it was announced that Max, a company's premier streaming platform, will be rebranded HBO Max this summer. The streaming business has had incredible momentum, turning around its profitability to almost $3 billion in just 2 years and scaling globally to 22 million subscribers. Blah, 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 blah. This is thanks to an enormous amount of hard work and investment and refocus the strategy on the programming that is working best, like HBO, recent box office movies, documentaries, certain reality series, and Max and local originals, and deprioritizing other genres that drive less engagement or acquisition. Okay. So either way, you see exactly what I'm saying here, what it says here. Refocusing the strategy on programming that's working best, like recent box office movies, docu-series, certain reality series, and Max and local originals. And yeah. So basically, and notice it says certain reality series here. I don't know what that fully means. Maybe there's certain reality series that still works a lot on Max. I don't know. But clearly, a lot of those that were on Max at the time is gone. You know, another show I'm sure is probably not going to be around for that much longer. Paul American. You know, that stupid Logan Paul and Jake Paul reality TV series that nobody wanted. Who the hell wants to watch a show about them? Like, let's be serious. Those two scumbags. Like, what the hell, man? Did they mention why they're going back to... Returning the HBO brand into HBO will further drive the service forward and amplify the uniqueness that subscribers can expect from the offering. Again, why did you remove it from the name in the first place? You could have kept it. You could have kept it. Like, It's truly incredible how stupid... how stupid this company is, man. Like, I literally just don't understand that at all. Let me just There we go. Just wanted to pull up the live stream again. Did they even mention anything about cartoons or animation? They definitely should have kept the HBO Max name. Not really sure, to be honest. I see what you mean, Josh. They are focusing on scripted content. The fact that they're somewhat self-aware of the whole situation makes me somehow even madder at them. Yeah. Hey, Meshe, how you doing? Glad to see you back in the stream. Alright, let's go back to the article. I didn't even expect this song to have any lyrics, but okay. Yeah. Powerful growth we have seen in our global streaming service is built around the quality of our programming. Today we're bringing back HBO, the brand that helps represent the highest quality in media to further accelerate that growth in the years ahead. So, you know now how valuable the HBO brand is to your growth. Did it really take you this long to figure that out? Again, this is why the merger between Discovery and Warner Brothers was so stupid. And you know what? Maybe it would have worked better if Warner Brothers themselves had a bigger stake in this company and not Discovery. Because unfortunately, you had Discovery CEO David Zasloff become the CEO of this entire merger. And clearly, this guy has no idea what he's doing. Because it took him until now to just realize that HBO is a huge brand, and that is what's going to help them with their growth on their streaming service. Anyone could have told you that! Good lord. And anybody could have also told you that everybody likes streaming content. I mean, streaming content. Scripted content. Anybody with a freaking brain would have told you that, but you were like, no, we're going to take away a lot of that stuff and revert to mainly reality shows. It's like, what is this guy on? Just crazy to me. We are continuing to focus on what makes us unique, not everything for everyone in a household, but something distinct and great for adults and families. It's not really subjective, not even controversial. Our programming just hits different. Yeah, so do they say anything much about animation? No, not really. And I think it's clear the only kind of animation they care about is adult animation. Because they've been removing a lot of animation in general, and we all know this. Looney Tunes is completely gone. I think Tom and Jerry is also completely gone from Max as well. Or HBO Max now. It's a freaking mess. Like, I don't even know what else to say, though. But either way, you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Okay, bring up chat again. I wish it was kind of an easy way to do this. Warner Brother honestly should have been in charge, not Discovery. Yeah, like, wouldn't Warner Brothers technically be the bigger, like, studio out of all this and not Discovery? But then again, maybe not. I don't know. Wait, didn't they say they changed the name to Max because they wanted to appear more family-friendly? Like, what the hell, man? Yeah, actually, you know what? That is a very good point. That is a very good point. Because they still, I guess, wanted to appear to families at the time. Which is very ironic, right? Because even when they did rebrand to Max, did they really advertise all that much any of their family content on their streaming service? Like, did they advertise much about any of the Cartoon Network shows that were on the streaming service? Any of the movies that were for children on the streaming service? Any of the preschool shows on the streaming service? And again, this was when it was Warner Brothers Discovery, not AT&T still. Because when they didn't do the merger and it was still Warner Media that had a lot of that stuff, and it was still HBO Max at the time, again, before the merger, because I remember when Cartoon Network was advertising a lot of the shows on HBO Max. They would do a lot of advertising about, hey, if you like this show, go check out HBO Max, and you have access to all their episodes, and blah, blah, blah. They did that. It was the same for Cartoonito. That was a huge part of their campaign is, hey, you got all these shows that are airing on this channel, but you also have all of these shows on HBO Max. Go check it out. ask a parent permission and blah, 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 blah. That was literally how it was advertised, you know, when it came to HBO Max. And until, and when it got to that, and when it got to the merger happening, what do you think happened? The advertising on HBO Max when it came to Cartoonito and Cartoon Network pretty much fizzled away. So, like, when you really think about it, it's a little funny that they mentioned, yeah, we're going to turn it into Max because we want it to seem more family-friendly. And yet, you barely did any advertising on it. You even said that, like, Cartoon Network's supposed to be, like, one of the pillars that's going to make Max, it was, like, one of the pillars of the streaming service or something. And yet, again, you did not advertise anything, and you didn't really care, and even try to bring audiences to the streaming service to watch your family content. You didn't do much. I even remember when he would keep saying, oh, well, we have a lot of shows, and we have a lot of things that are kind of comparable to or competitive with the other companies that have family content. We can really compete with them and blah, blah, blah. But you didn't. You barely did anything. Why can't we crack the code on having kids watching our streaming service? Because you kept taking away a lot of the shows that the streaming service previously had for children. You kept taking away. Over the years, you continued taking away. What did you do with Cartoon Network? They used to end at 8. And then eventually they ended at 7. And I think eventually they ended at 6, and now they end at 5. You just continue to take and take and take. And again, don't forget, no advertising. Barely any advertising of any of the shows that are airing on Cartoon Network being on Max. Or any of the shows, even some shows that were specifically made for Max, or maybe not made for Max, but was going to be technically a Max exclusive, like, say, Bees Block or Hop. That barely got any advertising. I mean, they have a little bit, but, like, rarely did anybody really know of. I think rarely any of those shows had any sort of advertising whatsoever. And so, again, at that time, they kept talking about how, like, yeah, we want to make things a bit more family-friendly so parents know, hey, our streaming service, we also have stuff for children, and we have this, and we have that. And yet, you barely really did anything to try to bring them in. You can't really blame the internet on this one. You can't blame YouTube. You can't blame Twitch. You can't even blame other streaming services. It's all on you. Because, yeah, Disney Plus, obviously Disney Plus kind of corners the market on a lot of things when it comes to, like, family content. Obviously, it's Disney. But you also have Netflix. They've been doing a really good job with their family content as well. They got a lot of movies, a lot of shows for kids and preschoolers and family in general. They have a huge catalog over there. And they still continue to invest. Granted, Paramount Plus doesn't really do the best. I don't think that's a really great streaming service. But even then, they still advertise that they have stuff on their streaming service for families and children. They still advertise it. But where's Max? What does Max do? Any of those shows get advertised to be on the streaming service? Nope. Like, even if you take a look at, like, Paramount Plus promos for just the streaming service alone, and you had, like, some of those advertisements where it had, like, characters from all these different shows trying to climb up the mountain, right? They had characters from Nickelodeon shows and Nick Jr. shows participating. You had Blue a couple of times. You had, I think, Chase from Paw Patrol, or maybe Sky a couple of times. You had Dora, the older version, and then the newer version at some point. You even had Hey Arnold also be a part of their advertisement. So, you see what I'm saying? They did a lot of things to be able to advertise that, yes, we have this kind of show, and we also have shows for kids. We also have this, yada, yada, yada. Max was nowhere to be seen when it came to that market. Because if you take a look at a majority of their advertisement, or a majority of their marketing when it came to the streaming service, nowhere do you really see much of any discussion about any shows from Cartoon Network, or any movies that kids could watch, and yada, yada, yada. There was nothing. So how can they really be shocked that they kind of failed that market? And it's kind of a weird thing that I've noticed with Hollywood recently, where they'll, like, say certain movies will come out, right? They'll barely advertise the film at all, put it in theaters, and then they're shocked that it doesn't do well at the box office. It's like, what? That doesn't even, it just makes no sense. I don't understand these companies sometimes. That's really what it is. And so, yeah, like, when they are talking about, like, yeah, we're not going to do kid content anymore because we just haven't been able to make it big in the market and blah, blah, blah. Again, it's all their fault. It's even the same with, like, Cartoon Network when they talk about, like, well, kids just don't watch TV after 5 o'clock anymore. If that's the case, then why does Nickelodeon still air stuff at, like, in their prime time? And I'm not even talking about just, like, them lasting until, like, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. There's a couple of times when they'll still air new episodes of the show around, like, maybe 6, 7, or 8 o'clock at night. So, sorry, I don't know if it's really true that kids don't be watching stuff after 5 p.m. on TV anymore. Yes, they have a lot of stuff on YouTube that they watch. They have a lot of stuff on other streaming services and what have you. But again, you guys just failed. I don't know what else to tell you, but y'all just failed. So, again, it's funny, because they're like, yeah, we're going to do Max so we can make it more family-friendly, but they didn't do anything, and now they're just like, well, we're not going to do it anymore, so HBO is coming back. And, yeah, this is what you guys actually wanted, because we were too stupid enough to realize that people like scripted content. Like, you just can't make this up. And Cartoon Network was forced to do Saturday morning premieres. Yeah. Any show that they have now, they can't do a premiere of it unless it's at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. They do no new episodes airing at any point throughout the week. And that's maybe because, 5 o'clock is too early for most kids, because, they get home at 3. Well, they end school at 3, and most likely they don't get home around, like, maybe 3:30 if they're close to the school, or 4, maybe even closer to 5. So by the time they're home, Cartoon Network's already off. And again, they're wondering why their views have been so low. Like, I don't know. Yeah, so HBO Max. Yeah, HBO Max is now a thing. It's a thing again. And again, rightfully so, companies are making fun of them for it. Like, literally going through Twitter, a bunch of companies are making posts, and they're kind of memeing on it, which is, it's hilarious, because the whole thing was just ridiculous. And literally everybody in the comments is like, what was the point of changing anything in the first place? So, yeah, like, it's just stupid. Like, again, this is just a very, very, very stupid company. And I think a lot of companies in Hollywood are kind of dumb with the way that they handle business nowadays. But Warner Brothers is just the worst right now. Well, Warner Brothers Discovery is the worst at this point. So, yeah. That was my whole tangent on... I did not expect to rant about that for so long. Oh, man. That was... I clearly had a lot to say about that. Yep, you can tell how much the other services are doing well. Yeah, pretty much. And I don't think, and even then, I don't think other streaming services had to make such a drastic change so many times, again, within the span of 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I just, you know. Yeah. That was, I guess you can say that was my TED Talk. Dave Zasloff sucks. Yes, he does. That was a great response to HBO Max coming back. Yeah, I guess I'm still kind of passionate about that. You know, it's funny because last night I was literally trying to write a script, right, about my thoughts about HBO Max coming back and just everything that's going on with Warner Brothers Discovery and yada yada yada. And I was just stumped, you know, because I was also trying to talk a little bit about like Cartoon Network and what was recently going on and how they're not doing so well in the future and blah, blah, blah. Like, I tried to weave all these things together and stuff. I guess I just needed to talk it out. I guess, I don't know. I don't know. If it's possible, I may want to, like, remotely try to just, maybe take this part of the video, or this part of the live stream, and maybe just, like, making it its own video, if possible. I don't know. Because I would at least still like to try to have some sort of video coming out or something, but I don't know. It may be something that I do a little bit more, possibly, when it comes to this channel. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, anyway. We've almost been live for about 2 hours. Okay. Yeah, it's 6:06 right now. That would be cool. Yeah. I don't know when I'm going to end the stream. We could probably go for another... it depends. It depends. We'll see. Actually, I may want to try to get something to eat semi-soon. Because I would like to go to bed early. Because, again, I'm going to be waking up at like 6 o'clock in the morning for tomorrow. So I can go to Disney and try to get there at like 7:15. Just to park. I'm not even kidding when I say that. Like, that is literally... I mean, but here's the thing. I'm kind of used to doing that anyway. Not because of me rope-dropping Disneyland, but mainly because that's what you call it when you go to Disneyland and you're in the park before it officially opens. But when I would do my show, Maggie's Market, right? Which evidently, or coincidentally, that show, when I film it, it's in Tustin. And it's actually on the... I'm pretty much usually driving by Disneyland to get to where I film the show, right? And I usually have to get there at like 7:30. That's usually my call time. And so, for about like a week, depending on like if I'm... Well, yeah, roughly about a week's worth of filming. That's what we do. And basically, I'm usually there for like, say... If we're filming for, say, either 5 days or 6 days, I'm usually there for, like... If it's 5 days, I'm usually there for, like, maybe 3 days of the... And that also includes a day where everybody is off, right? I'm usually probably there for, like, a majority of the days. Like, say, if there's, in total 6 filming days, I'm usually there for 4 days. This time, we had, like, 6 filming days, I think. Or was it 5? I think it was 6 filming days. And I was there for, like, 5 days. They actually used me a lot more than they usually do in the show. So, yeah. But I'm usually used to waking up. Well, not fully, because I don't do it every day. But I am still used to, in some ways, getting getting up at, like, roughly about 6 o'clock and leaving the house by, like, 6:20 or so. Because I also, like, know how to just, like, get ready or, like, prepare for things. So, like, when I get up in the morning, I don't have to do a lot of preparation. Like, I wash my face, put lotion on, brush my teeth, yada, 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 and then I'm out. You know? I'm a guy. I don't take a long time to get ready. Dudes know this. But, like, you know, but yeah. But it's true, though. Like, I'm able to get out of the house. Once I had to try to get out of the house in, like, 10 minutes or 5. Because I actually overslept because my alarm clock, for whatever reason, didn't go off. And so I had to quickly rush out of the house so I could try to make it somewhat on time for my call time, which I didn't. But, yeah, it was... So I even know how to, like, get out very quickly. But, yeah, so I'm kind of used to doing that. But yeah, I do want to, like, get to bed somewhat earlier, so I should also eat sooner as well. So, yeah. Anyway, but we still have a little bit of time. Warner's disappoints me, pretty much. I wish Bye Bye Bunny was revived. Yeah! I think Bye Bye Bunny would have been an interesting movie, because it was also going to be a musical, and we even heard, like, one of the... excuse me. We even heard, like, one of the songs that they created, for the movie. And the song was actually pretty good. Definitely a musical song. I'm a guy that goes to, or who has been to a lot of musical theater, and I've seen a few shows on Broadway as well. And so I can tell you that was definitely a musical theater kind of show. Or a musical theater kind of song, and it was really good. It was really good. It would have been very interesting, because it would have been a way in which you've seen the Looney Tunes in such a different way, you know? And so I wish we could have still had that. That would have been very, very cool. Maybe Bye Bye Bunny should have been shopped to other companies. Yeah! Or it could have been picked up, well, that would have been later on in its life, though, but it would have been cool if, excuse me. It would have been cool if Ketchup Entertainment were to have picked up Bye Bye Bunny. Or if they could have picked up the production and say, okay, let's continue on, because Ketchup Entertainment seems to really, really care about the Looney Tunes property, and they continue, you know what I mean? They just saved Wiley versus Acme, or Coyote versus Acme. What's the name? I think that's Coyote versus Acme. I don't even know anymore. But they literally saved that movie, and that's going to be coming out next year. So it's like Ketchup Entertainment seems to really care about Looney Tunes way more than Warner Brothers Discovery does, which is very interesting. But yeah, I wish... Yeah, it's Coyote versus Acme. Okay, that's what I thought. But yeah, like, I really wish we could have still seen Bye Bye Bunny. Or it could have still been something that was worked on currently. But, you know, Warner Brothers Discovery. That's the only thing I really need to say about that. That's pretty cool for Maggie's Market to be close by Disney. Yeah, it actually worked in my favor one night because because recently, this time around, I stayed at a hotel for about 2 nights, because I was needed on set, like, literally 3 days in a row, and driving from where I live right now all the way to Tustin, every day, or for those 3 days, would have been a little taxing. I just wanted to get a little bit of extra sleep, you know what I mean? So I didn't have to wake up too early in the morning to get there on time, and yada, yada, yada. So I got a hotel this time around to stay for like 3 nights, or for 2 nights, so when I'm there 3 days in a row, I didn't have to worry too much about, like, getting there on time, or waking up and doing whatever. Or just, you know, just driving back and forth, and, you know, it's a whole thing. But, one of those nights, I decided, you know what, why not? Let's go to Disneyland. Or not go to Disneyland, go to downtown Disney so I can, you know, go out and, you know, just get something to eat, see the fireworks, which was cool. I was able to catch the fireworks while I was there, because they were running fireworks every day of that week, because I think it was still spring break at the time. And when it came to, yeah, so it was cool for me to be able to catch that, but also I had, like, a really good dinner. I had, like, a nice chicken sandwich. It was fairly expensive, but it was still good. Yeah, it was nice to be able to get out and, you know, just to, I don't know, still be around Disney for a little bit. And it took me like 15 minutes from my hotel, and so it worked out in my favor. Because I was like, man, what do I want to have for dinner tonight? And so again, that worked out. But yeah, it is cool to be able to kind of drive by Disney when I do the show. Shay says, I have got a question for you. How many times have you gone to Disneyland? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how many times I've been to Disneyland at this point. I've never counted my my visits, especially being a Magic Key holder for a year and a half at this point. I've never counted the amount of visits that I've had. So I literally don't know how many times I've been to Disney. And actually, just very quickly, there we go. But yeah, I don't know how many times I've been to Disney. It's probably been over 100 times at this point, most likely. I don't know. I mean, overall, I would say it's definitely been over 100 times, most likely. But in terms of last year and this year, how many visits I've had, I can't calculate that. Probably over... Honestly, probably would have been close to over 100 times just these past 2 years alone, I think. Because I've been going a lot. I've definitely been going a lot. What are your upcoming vlogs? I'm going to be vlogging tomorrow at Disneyland to celebrate their 70th anniversary. I'm not fully sure how that vlog is going to turn out. And again, I may be doing a somewhat special vlog for this channel tomorrow, and that may just end up being another day. I don't know. I mean, I've done 2 vlogs in one day before, but I'm not fully sure how I would want to do it this time around, since I'd want to be focusing on the 70th anniversary. I mean, obviously the vlog would still be at Disneyland regardless. I'm not really sure. I guess I can ask in the chat right now. If I do happen to do a stream, not a stream, there is no way in hell I'm doing it in IRL stream. That is never happening. I am way too shy for that. But I'll ask in the chat if I do happen to do a special vlog for you guys at Disneyland, which I'm still planning on it because again, seems like that's something you guys are interested in. What exactly would you want to see in the vlog? You know, like I want to try to make it different from my vlogs on the other channel, but like if I were to do a vlog tomorrow for this channel, what would you guys want to see? I guess that's something I would have to, that I would kind of ask, so I could probably have somewhat of an idea of what to do. Because again, I would like it to be kind of different from what I tend to do on my other channel. So, yeah. But that kind of gives you kind of an idea of what I'm planning. Your mom says, I did see one of the episodes of Maggie's Market, and it was a pretty decent. I mean, the production effects aren't really the best, but because it has a smaller team behind it, I can understand it. Well, which episode, if you're still in the chat, like, can you remember at all what one of the episodes was? Like, if you remember what the episode was about, tell me. Only because I have a good answer for why that possibly is. But yeah. Just let me know. Let me know, because if it was season 1, then it definitely has improved a lot from that. But yeah, again, let me know. If I'm not mistaken, Bye Bye Bunny was supposed to premiere on Acme Nights. I don't know if that was supposed to premiere on Acme Nights. I think originally what would have premiered on Acme Nights was the day the Earth blew up. I think that wasn't supposed to be a theatrical release, or was it? Shoot, actually, I don't remember. I don't remember. That was a while ago, but I don't think Bye Bye Bunny was going to premiere on Acme Nights. It might, or it probably, if Acme Nights was still a thing, it probably would have premiered, or would have obviously had a premiere on there, but I'm not really sure. Sad to see how Warner Brothers treat the Looney Tunes nowadays. Yeah, it's honestly kind of crazy that that they treat it so badly. I don't understand it. You know, like, it's Looney Tunes is literally a legacy. You know, and for them to kind of just not really care about. Well, here's the weird thing about that. Yeah, they get rid of Looney Tunes and they don't even want to save like any of the movies that they made previously, but they also announced that they're going to be making a Looney Tunes movie. that I think is supposed to be coming out in 2027. Like, what? Like, I mean, I'm not mad at the fact that they're going to be making another Looney Tunes movie. Like, I think that's great, but it's like, it's confusing because it's like, do you care for the Looney Tunes or do you not care for the Looney Tunes? Because your actions kind of show you don't care for the Looney Tunes. It's like, what? It's weird. I don't get it. I don't get it sometimes. But yeah, honestly, I think Ketchup Entertainment should have the rights to Looney Tunes from now on. I don't even know if I... Yeah, I didn't read that. But yeah, I kind of think they should, honestly. Because again, they seem to care for it a whole lot more. Ketchup couldn't buy Looney Tunes if they wanted to. They're a small indie company with 10 employees total. God damn, that's... I didn't even know that. That's crazy. Oh, your mom says the one with the volcano where they had to get some kind of special hot sauce. Okay, that was season 1. And I think that was also the, that's pretty cool to check out Maggie's Market there. Yeah, they did put, 1 episode. And was that the first episode we filmed? You know what? Let me see if I can look that up. Because we didn't film any of these episodes in order. Let me see if I can go all the way back. We filmed those episodes, season 1, all the way back in 2022. So let's see. I have so many emails from them. Day 1. What was the episode that we filmed? It was that episode! Okay! Lava Hot Sauce. That was the first episode that we ever filmed. There you go. I don't think that was the... It wasn't considered episode 1 when it came to filming order. Oh, not filming order, but when it came to premiere order, I guess. I think the second episode that we filmed was technically the first episode that aired on Yippee TV. But yeah, that one was the very first episode. And so, for one, that explains why the effects and the production of that was not the best. It was the first time that they've really done a show like this, I think. And so it was definitely a lot of learning curves when it came to filming the show. When it came to, like, say, mics, right? Because we only had lavalier mics when it came to audio, right? Now we have a fully dedicated boom mic. So we have a person that comes in. She also does, like, a lot of other productions, and she's done some fairly professional work as well. And so she comes in with her, I think she has her own, yeah, she has her own gear. I think it's her own gear, yeah. And she, you know, provides us with, like, with lavalier mics as well, but also a boom mics for much better audio. So that's one of the ways that we also did, like, some upgrades. And in a way, we kind of tend to upgrade our production almost every year. Or every season, we kind of upgrade. Like, I think our cameras got upgraded a little bit, or at the very least, the lens that we use to film our show has upgraded. When it comes to our green screen work, it's also upgraded a little bit too. Like, at first, when we did the show, we had, like, no sense of tracking when it came to the green screen, right? So, when you do any sort of, like, say, what I mean by that is, if you want any sort of, like, camera to move or follow an actor on a green screen, you have to have, like, markings on the green screen for tracking purposes, right? So you'll have, like, maybe, like, a cross or an X or kind of like a plus, I guess. Some sort of marks on the green screen so that when you're basically doing, like, the visual effects, if you got any sort of camera movement on the green screen, which is usually only, like, say, close-up cameras, you know, to still kind of capture all the movements from the actors and stuff. Like, you kind of have to have markings on the green screen. in order to have like some sort of point at to like where to track. Like when you put in like the backgrounds, it kind of gives you a visual aid of like where to kind of have the background stay when the cameras are moving and yada yada yada. I don't think I really like explained it the greatest, but it's kind of something like that, right? But also, what else? Also, yeah, in terms of how we do green screen work, that was also kind of updated in a way. Like the green screen obviously is still the same. It's not as if like we it's not as if like we have like a completely new green screen and what have you, because we do it on what's called a green sci, and essentially what that is it's not just like a plain green screen that we film on. We have like two walls. Actually, let me see if I can bring up a photo of the green screen just to show you guys like an example. Let me see, is that a full... I have so many pictures saved on my on my phone. I'm trying to get like trying to see if I have a full shot of the setup. Okay, I do. Alright, so let me see. I think you have it. Hold on. I'm not sure if you can fully... Let me turn that down just a little bit. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so basically that's kind of the green screen setup. It's kind of, if you can see it very well, like it's kind of like two walls, and you kind of see like it's a green floor, basically. So we film it on that. We kind of film it on that, so when we do happen to do like a bunch of green screen stuff, it's kind of, that kind of looks like a green screen setup for a stop motion film. Kind of looks like that, yeah. But that's kind of how you do like a lot of stuff on television if you're doing a lot of green screen. If you want the actors to really fully look like they're in a world, the green screen has to be pretty big, has to be multiple like angles in a way, and it also has to be on the floor. So when you're kind of like, say, walking into a scene, you can fully kind of be chroma keyed into an actual like location, if that makes sense. Again, I'm not really the best at explaining that, but that's kind of essentially like just how it works. And when it came to doing that, right, we also upgraded the ways in which we use said green screen. Mainly in the sense of how we light the green screen, but also what tends to happen, unfortunately, is that when we're on a green screen like that, what will tend to happen is with all the lights and everything, green, like, some green will actually end up kind of spilling onto our face, right? So, like, if you're, like, kind of watching the show, like, on the background or something, editing a green screen effect can be tough when you have to have perfect lighting. Pretty much. It 100% can, because lighting, like, really can have a huge effect on how you can be able to chroma key, us out of the, like, it really is a huge effect on, or it makes a huge difference, I think that's what I'm trying to say, in terms of getting it right. And even also when it comes to green screen, again, because you have, like, so many lights shining on it, to have it fully covered, fully light, perfectly, it has to be evenly lit for the most part as well, and, just so when it comes to having actors on it, you don't want any harsh shadows. Shadows are somewhat fine, but it can't be harsh. It has to be either barely noticeable, or there has to be little to none, so that when you do happen to work with green screen and you're editing all the green out, you're able to have like a clean, like, I guess you could call it mask of, you know, just the actor being on the green. So there's like no bleed when it comes to any green on there, and it's a lot. There's a lot that kind of goes into it. I don't really do any editing with green screen, so I don't fully know how, you know, they are able to edit a lot of the green out, but that's kind of how they tend to do it. And one of the things that we have to really do is when we're on a green screen and say because sometimes we have to sit on it, or usually a lot we have to lay on the green screen, so I can like like say if I gotta climb up a building or climb up a green vine, right, like Jack and the Beanstalk or something, I usually have to do that while I'm on the floor pretending to climb, so you kind of have like a perspective of me kind of from my back kind of climbing up or something. And sometimes when we do that, what we have to do, which we did not do in the first season, because again, we were all kind of new to this, is we have to lay down like a white card in front of us so that there's no green kind of splashing onto our face. Like, not that our faces are green, but it kind of prevents any sort of like light green spill coming onto our face, because when you kind of when that happens, it's a little difficult to kind of chroma key the green screen out, because it'll kind of affect our face a little bit, if that makes sense. Again, I'm not the best at, like, explaining all of this, but when you have, like, say, a white card or maybe a black card kind of laying right in front of you on a green screen, when it comes to, say, maybe close-up shots of the actor or something, you don't have that issue. You'll have good lighting on the actors, and you have just only the green screen behind you, so you're able... I think a better way of putting it is when you don't have any sort of green on your face from the spill that is coming from the floor, it is much easier to separate the actor from the green background and put him into a different background. I think that's a better way of basically putting it. And so over the years of us doing the show, we learned that that's what we should be doing, is putting a white card in front of the actors when we really need it. If there's any green spilling on our face, we'll have a white card in front of us, like laid in front of us, to block the rest of that green screen when it comes to the close-ups, and so there's no more spillage on our face, and we're able to be separated from the background much easier. So, basically, green screen is a lot harder than you think it is to really make it work. And it's probably the same for if you're doing, like, blue screen stuff. Like, it is very... Excuse me. It's very difficult to work with that. I mean, it's difficult just in the way that you have to get so many things right in order for the effect to really work, to be somewhat convincing. You know what I mean? And because we're not a highly budgeted show, it's a little bit more simpler for us to say, like, say, if we had, I guess, the budget of Blue's Clues, right? It would be a much different situation. And I'm talking about, like, say, Blue's Clues and You. Because even if you take a look at, say, the behind-the-scenes footage of, say, Josh doing his little spiel on the green screen with the chair and the notebook and everything, you will see, when the camera's filming him, there's like a black, I think probably a black carpet that's right in front of him, and that is specifically to block out any green spillage from going onto his face, or green light going onto his face. And so that's why he's able to perfectly look as if he is a part of the cartoon world in Blue's Clues. You know what I mean? There is a lot of planning and a lot of trial and error that goes into it to be able to really make that look, you know, maybe not realistic, but good enough to where it's somewhat believable in the show's world, if that makes sense. So, yeah. So basically, like, season 1 is 100% not the greatest in terms of production, but we have gotten much, much better when it comes to, our production over the years that we've been doing this show, which has been great, and it's been awesome to see how we've been able to somewhat grow in crew as well, and also grow in the kind of technology we use as well, too. So it's been cool. We even kind of use a little bit of technology to kind of help us actors a little bit, to kind of see where in the world we are, right? So now, when we do a green screen scene, we'll have like a television screen like in front of us, and what we're able to do is use the actual background that we're going to use in the episode. They will have the background on the television, and one of the cameras will be hooked up to that TV, and we will be able to kind of see ourselves in that actual world, right? Kind of like, say, it's kind of similar to, say, when you got like the weathermen, they'll be in front of a green screen, but you can, obviously, it's a live footage, and so when you're watching it on TV, you're seeing, like, the maps of, like, the state or the city, but when he or she is in front of the green screen, it's actually just, you know what I mean? We're kind of using that technology now, so it kind of helps us, like, with planning a scene. It helps with, like, set directors putting, like, props onto the scene to make it look like, how do I put this? To make it look more, I guess, realistic when we actually have set on the actual screen. Like, it kind of fits now with, like, the proportions of where, the actual background is, if that makes sense. It just makes things a whole lot smoother and a lot easier. So, yeah. We be upgrading. So, yeah, again, that was my TED Talk on how you do green screen in Hollywood. That's funny. Yeah, I am definitely getting hungry. I heard my stomach growl just a little bit, or I felt it. So I think we should be ending the stream fairly soon. Actually, I totally forgot that I asked, like, what would you guys want to see in my vlog? So I'm kind of going back up the chat and trying to see if I see anything. You can break director for the most visits in any park. Nah. Or you meant to say you can break the record for most visits in any park? No. Trust me, there's people that have been at Disneyland way more times than I have. Again, because I only go to Disneyland usually once a week. Usually once a week. It's rare that I'll be going twice a week. It is extremely rare that I'll be going 3 times a week. It's happened before, but that is very rare. But there's some people that go almost every day. Or there's been people when, before reservations were a thing, they'd literally be at Disney almost every single day. I couldn't do that. There's no way in which I could do that. I mean, I love Disney, do not get me wrong. I love Disneyland. I literally love that place. I don't know if I would be able to be there every single day. And it's not because I would get tired of the park. I clearly haven't been tired of it yet. But it's more so that it's just the driving. You know what I mean? Like, that would be way too much in gas money that I would be spending. Driving from here to Disney every day. I couldn't do it. And even with the way I drive, I barely get gas anyway. Like, I usually probably only fill up, usually maybe once a year. I mean, wow, no. Imagine if I were to be filling up my gas tank once a year. That means I would barely be going anywhere. But anyway, maybe once a month or twice a month, you know? Because that's how much I don't drive too often, but, you know. But, yeah, but trust me, the amount of times I've been at Disney as a Magic Key holder is on the low end of how many Magic Key holders. The amount of times they've been, probably in the past 2 years alone, has way surpassed the amount of times I've been. I can tell you that right now. That would be cool. Maybe you could go check out Disney, Downtown Disney. Yeah, I could probably do that. I'm not fully 100% sure if I'm going to do that tomorrow, but it's a possibility. Maybe you with Mickey. I don't do meet and greets. I rarely do even if I did meet and greets, I don't know if I'd be able to get like good footage of me meeting any of these characters. But I definitely will be, like, getting footage of the characters and their new 70th anniversary celebration outfits tomorrow. Especially when they do the parades, I'll 100% be doing that. Yeah. Let's see here. Let me just go all the way to the bottom. I see that. Good, thanks, chat. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Yeah. It's very rare that I do any meet and greets, or at least at Disney, I don't tend to do meet and greets, mainly because I'm kind of just too shy. Because I also am kind of awkward, and so like I would feel kind of awkward actually doing a meet and greet. You know what I mean? So other people, like other Disney adults can. I just kind of can't do that. It's funny that I say that, considering the fact that when it came to Comic-Con 2 years ago, I did a meet and greet with Broby from Yo Gabba Gabba. So I was able to do that, but for whatever reason, when it comes to Disneyland, I can't. Like I can't. But yeah, again, that we'll see what tomorrow brings. And yeah, I hope I can come up with a pretty decent. Hey, that's understandable. Yeah. But yeah, I hope to come out with a fairly decent vlog, which probably would most likely be posted maybe on Sunday, because I probably would be way too freaking tired to remotely do any sort of editing for my vlog come Saturday. I probably would just be like, nah, I just want to relax, lay down, and just rest. So, yeah. 30 years of Toy Story. Yeah, that's right, 30. And speaking of Toy Story, they're actually bringing Rex out at California Adventure for the 30th anniversary of Toy Story. And I don't think he officially makes his debut at California Adventure until later in the month, I think. If I can remember, I think it's supposed to be on the 23rd of May. So, maybe it would be next Friday. I'm not sure. I'm going to be there next Friday, so if I can, I probably will, go ahead and, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea who Spencer is, yeah, okay. Either way, I am going to be ending the stream. It is 6:43 right now. It's about to be 7. I need to get some food. I am definitely hungry right now. I would like to eventually start eating something, now, because I would like to go to bed at least in the next 4 hours or so. I do need to, yeah, I need to go to bed. I need to go to bed early so I can get ready for tomorrow. And there's also a lot of things I need to do to prepare for tomorrow as well. So, yeah. But thank you guys so much for joining this live stream. I wasn't even sure if I was going to do a live stream today, but I'm glad I did. Because I knew, like, with everything that happened today, I just was not going to be able to do a video for you guys this week. I wanted to do a video with you for you guys this week, but it just wasn't going to be able to happen. So, yeah. But, yeah, tomorrow is going to be a full-on Disney day. I'm going to be tired. Wish me luck. And again, I may do a vlog for this channel tomorrow. I'm definitely doing a vlog tomorrow for my vlogging channel. I mean, I might as well, link to it. Oh, do not play, but, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and link it, so you guys can check that out if you haven't already. Paste. There you go, there's the, link to my, vlogging channel, so go ahead and check that out. I don't know how big of a vlog is going to be on that channel when it comes to the 70th anniversary, but I'm hoping to pump out a really, really good vlog. Sorry I didn't say anything in a while. I was just eating. No worries. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I hope you heard my, talk about the upgrades that we made to Maggie's Market. Because I was just like, let's talk about it for a little bit, and then I really got into the conversation. I guess I'm very passionate about my show, as you can see. But yeah, let's go ahead and do the outro music. Alright. So, Kawaii Mation rocks, I don't know how you say your name, apologize for that. Gillian, Kiki, Angel Spears, Captain Abel, Mason Wrigley, your mom, Mayshay, who else? Randall. I think that is everybody that is still... Gillian, I think I said Gillian, I'm not sure if it's just the case. Gillian, Gold Star, and I think that is it. So again, thank you guys so much for joining in the stream. Don't forget to check out the link to my vlogging channel. If you haven't, give it a subscribe, watch some of the other videos. And yeah, I hope every single one of you have a good rest of your week. And also have a good weekend. And happy Friday, because tomorrow's Friday. So just wanted to wish you guys happy Friday. And yeah, stay safe out there. And again, just have a good weekend. So thank you guys so much for joining into the stream. Maybe I do another stream next week. We'll see. It really depends. But yeah, again, peace out. Remember, you're hearing it from a regular bunny in a regular world. Peace out. Thank you guys so much for joining in the stream. And I hope to see you guys next time. Take care.
Got a little closer, closer. Take a little louder, louder. Talk a little louder, louder. I need you, need you. Wanna be closer, take him apart.